It hasn't been even a week since Trump took office, and we're already seeing massive changes in the entire immigration system. In this video, we're specifically going to talk about changes to the green card process through the adjustment of status, specifically the processing times, and one of the things that I think are going to cause delays and for you to be aware of. We're going to talk about interview waivers and what's the future with that. We're going to talk about requests for evidence and what's going to happen in the next months moving forward. The processing time, how long is it going to take to actually get a green card through the adjustment of status? And finally, what are some of the things that I think are coming back from the previous administration which were devastating to the entire green card process? So let's jump right in. All right, so many of you watching this video are interested in starting the green card through the adjustment of status. And as you know, to qualify for a green card through the adjustment of status, you have to be physically in the United States, ideally in legal status. Then if you overstay, then you can still apply for a green card as long as you're married to a United States citizen. Now, the adjustment of status applies also to other family members. If you're going to get sponsored by your parents and you're still in legal status, or if you're going through the process of applying for a green card through an employer. All these processes require you to adjust your status from one status, typically another visa, to that of a green card. And the processing times will differ depending on if it's a family matter or if you're applying for a job or an employer. So let's talk about first on the major things that we've seen in the past 2 years through the Biden administration. We've seen that the processing times became much faster, specifically for work permits through the adjustment of status. If you remember in the beginning when the administration took over, it took over a year, sometimes a year and 4 months to get a work permit. They're still recovering from COVID-19 and other things. And finally, in the past 6 months to the Biden administration, work permits took anywhere from 90 days, 4 months was average. It's still going on right now, but we feel that is going to be one of the first things you're going to see that will be impacted. Because of certain backlogs that we already start seeing from our clients, the time to get a work permit through the adjustment of status process is starting to already increase. In some of the states, we represent clients in many states. In California, the processing times is already up to 5 months. And in New York and Florida, clients report even 7 months wait to receive those work permits. Now, again, this is not just because of this current administration. These are things that are starting to happen, but the processing of these work permits is definitely slowing down and will continue to slow down as we move through 2025. But the biggest thing that clients are worried about are the interviews. The reason why everything went by so fast in the last year and a half is because the Biden administration started implementing interview waivers for adjustment of status. It started, of course, with employment-based applications. A lot of our clients who are going through the EB3, EB2, self-petitions, and employer-sponsored were getting their interview waived over the past 2 years. And then suddenly, about a year and a half ago, that shift also moved to family-based immigration. Was something unheard of. For you to apply for a green card and never be interviewed by an immigration officer and still be able to get your green card, that was crazy. But that happened. That happened a lot. And what happened as a result of those waivers is that petitions started to move faster. Now, remember, if you had your interview waived during your first green card, the 2-year conditional green card, trust me, they would have interviewed you later on during the removal of conditions or at your citizenship if you applied for a citizenship, because at some point they would have to see you and get some information if this marriage was real. People will alarm and say, well, how come there's no interviews and there's going to be a lot of fraud and people are going to get their green cards? Well, yeah, fine. If they waive the interview through the first green card, trust me, they would interview you during the removal of conditions or before you get your citizenship. So it's not like a free-for-all. At some point, you would get an interview. But by waiving the interview at step 1, it caused the process to move much faster and people were getting their green card faster. During the Trump administration right now, we already know that interviews are coming back. You will see notifications and policy memos from USCIS stating that interviews will be coming back to all applications, which means that they're going to be interviewing not only marriage cases, not only family petitions, but also many employment-based cases will go back to interview process, which will obviously naturally prolong the process. So if you're applying for your green card right now, before they're bringing all this, do so as soon as possible. Maybe you will be able to get that process faster under current processing time. So number 1, interviews are coming back for family petitions, number 1, but also for some employment-based cases. You will see that, and that's obviously going to prolong the EAD's processing times as well as other immigration applications. Next thing we're going to see is the increase in requests for evidence. More requests for evidence are going to come in. They're going to be questioning financial documents. They're going to be questioning if the sponsors are correct. They're going to be wanting to see more documents. Requests for evidence are going to be on the rise. Also, they're going to be questioning validity of marriages, and they're going to be asking for more documents, which is going to lead for second interviews. Right now, we can see in embassies and consulates worldwide that they're interviewing applicants twice. This is a pilot program that started in Nigeria, and they're moving to other consulates. This is going to come back to happen at adjustment of status applications. Once you go through the interview, they will ask for more documents and maybe will bring you back for another interview, which means more and more people are going to be experiencing two interviews, also known as fraud interviews. But it doesn't mean that all of them are going to be fraud interviews, but you're going to see more people are going to be called for second interviews to verify a lot of information, which again will cause even further delays. Another thing we're going to see coming back are home visits. We haven't seen home visits for many, many years, and those are already coming back. So when you're going to go through the green card process, you're going to see immigration officers coming to visit your home. Those are going to be more routine processes where after an interview, if they don't have enough information, if they feel something is going on in your case, they will be sending officers to your home. The Trump administration is already building task force through the Homeland Security Investigations Unit to bring more officers to be able to come to your home to verify information after an immigration interview. What is all that going to do? It's going to prolong the process. It's going to make the process of you getting a green card even further. Now, guys, before I talk to you about one of the worst things that I think is going to happen, let me tell you one thing. If you're watching this, please subscribe to our channel. Please click the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos, because guess what? If you're not a subscriber, you're going to miss our weekly updates, and that's too bad. Also, if you want to consult on your particular immigration matter, send me a text at 619-483-4549 or go to www.immigrationasap. Leave your details, and one of our team members will contact you ASAP. Now let's go back into the video. Now, as I mentioned to you, one of the worst things that I know is coming back is the public charge rule. Under that rule, they were questioning whether a U.S. citizen is a sufficient sponsor to be able to benefit the foreign national. It requires more documents to verify, credit reports, and the public charge rule is penalizing immigrants that were using public benefits, certain public benefits that right now are eligible. Under the strict public charge rule, you won't be eligible. What is it going to do? Is it going to cause more delays in the processing? It's going to cause more people to not qualify for the green card, and the processing times of adjustment of status applications is going to be prolonged. We anticipate that by the time that we get to midterm Trump administration, green card adjustment of status will reach 20 months processing. Right now, it's under 8 months. It will get to over 18 months. Now, what does this mean for you? It means that you need to be more prepared. It means you need to be more cautious as to how you prepare your applications. You need to be aware that if you're not doing this right, if you're using the wrong forms, if you're using the wrong fees, if you're not submitting enough documents early on in your filing, you will get requests for evidence. You will get your files kicked back. It is important to not only prepare carefully, but also have enough documents to submit to the government, so by the time they get to your interview, you will pass in flying colors. Remember, they're going to be questioning more people at those interviews, specifically people who come here as visitors and change their status from inside the United States. They'll be scrutinizing that. There's a rumor that they might not allow people that come here on visa waivers and who overstayed, even if they're married U.S. citizen, they will have some restrictions as to filing for adjustment of status. So as you can see, a lot of changes are coming. A lot of things will be changing, and a lot of delays will be impacting the process of applying for a green card through adjustment of status. If you're watching this video today, you should take action. If you're ready to apply for your adjustment of status, you should do so now. Do not delay, because right now processing times are still predictable, because right now we know what to expect, but we don't know what's going to happen in 4 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. The adjustment of status process is not going to change significantly, but the hurdles that I just mentioned to you in the beginning of this video will be a big problem. More interviews, second interviews, more requests for evidence, more people getting denied, home visits. All this is going to change the landscape of adjustment of status in 2025. You know what you have to do right now. You need to speak with an attorney, to call for consultation, to determine what you have to do to make your case a success in 2025. If you're watching this video and you want to use my services, all you have to do is send me a text 619-483-4549 or go to www.immigrationasap.com. Put your details there, and one of our team members will contact you ASAP. Thanks for watching this video. Stay safe. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.